Okay, good afternoon. Hopefully you can hear me, right? Can you hear me and see my screen? Okay. Then let's just move on to today's tutorial that is on fraud detection and fraud detection in e-commerce and credit card transaction. So basically the tutorial is going to be just giving you theoretical knowledge what they are. I'm sure most of you do know what probably going to talk about. This is not an unusual term. Fraud detection. These are frauds in credit card transaction are common trends that happen globally. So let's just talk about what they are, just to elevate our understanding much further in what machine learning can do for us to help these frauds that can happen not in just e-commerce but everywhere. But we will focus on the e-commerce. So as you know, fraud detection, it is a high volume of money is involved in e-commerce transactions. When we say e-commerce, shopping ሳይቶች ኢኮሜርስ ነው የሚባለው። ባይ እና ሴል የምናደርግባቸው ሳይቶች ኢኮሜርስ እንላቸዋለን። ኢንተርኔት ላይ ያሉ ልክ እንደ ሾፕ አይ ቲንክ አማዞን እንደዚ ሲሚላር የሆኑ ትራንዛክሽን ፕላትፎርሞች ኢኮሜርስ እንላቸዋለን። So high volume of money involved in the e-commerce ecosystem. There's a lot of money that is being transacted within those platforms. So because of that, it does draw the attention of fraudsters, which are those people that are attentively work to create these frauds to take your money, to take the money from the company, or it could be to take money from the customers. So it does, because there's a high amount of money, it does give the attention, or it does interest these fraudsters that are living among us. So which makes fraud prevention and detection techniques of high importance because they exist. It's really important to find ways to make sure, we close the doors for these people. For those people, so fraudsters may adapt quickly. That is one thing, they have a quality. ምንም ያህል high technology ያለው fraud detect የሚያደርግ ፕላትፎርም ብሰሩም ሶፍትዌር ኦር ዋሬቨር ብሰሩም ፍራውድስተሮች ደግሞ በዛው ልክ ራሳቸውን አፕዴት እያደረጉ ነው የሚሄዱት። ሶ አዲስ የተከሰተውን ፍራውድ ዲቴክት የሚያደርግ ሜተድን ቶሎ አዳፕት አድርገው ቶል ፈልገው መልሰው አታክ የማድረግ ቻንሳቸው ከፍተኛ ናቸው። they are also skillful when it comes to their own profession, you can say that. So fraud detection schemes must evolve. So it's not a one-team job because you have created one really good platform or really good system. It doesn't mean it's the end, because the fraudster also adapt their service with your new tool or your new system, and they will create their own loopholes again to break down your system. So it is an evolving process when it comes to fraud detection. It's never ending. It's always gonna evolve along, because they also make sure they are involved with your new creations, these fraudster entities that exist around the world. So understanding fraud in digital transaction, as you know, fraud is intentional. It's like a job for them as well. It's an intentional deception for personal gain, causing harm to others. It could be one of the two or both. It could be for other countries to this with each other to attack one another, or it could be most of the time it is for personal gain to get money the easy way. Impact financial losses. Yeah, it creates these financial losses for both the company and the consumer. It does create reputational damage. So if Amazon is constantly be attacked by fraud, it's likely it's going to lose customers, and also their reputation, which creates a reputational damage, and it creates this erosion of trust between those who are involved in the system, that is between the customer and the one that provides the system. So billions of dollars will be lost globally each year. Not with this, it's every year. There's a lot of billions of dollars that will be lost because of this pain, and they are these fraud types can be diverse, constantly evolving. I mean, there are tons of types of fraud that exist when it comes to within this transaction of the e-commerce. So it's really diverse. Every time a new change is coming to detect them, they also are improving and they're coming with new ways to attack you. So it's really not static. The process of fraud or the status of fraud that exists in the world, it's not static. Dynamics always changing and evolving with the technology, with whatever there is at the time. It's adapting really fast. So what kind of types that could exist? I'm not mentioning all of them, but some of the known ones that happen in the e-commerce ecosystem is the CNAP fraud, which this one is storing credit card details used online. So they will store your credit card and they will purchase through your credit card details with online purchases. So no physical, which with online payments, physical verification in them. Every verification is online, so which makes it a bit comfortable for them. So they can easily do it. This is a really common fraud that happens within the e-commerce system. The second one is the APO, which is fraudsters gain access to legitimate customer accounts. So they give the customers a real customer information, and they can through that person's customer account, they will go through your account because they have your password and everything. They can change their shipping address and make purchase. So you can see your card being used, but the particular product that's purchased is not coming to your particular home or address because they already have taken all your account access, which they can adjust every setting, information that there is this e-commerce needs to ship your particular product. So it's just like the name, it's total takeover of everything. This is the second fraud that exists. The other is the friendly fraud, which legitimate customers makes a purchase and dispute the charge. This one is a bit easier, more like spoiled people do this one. So በራሳቸው ካርድ ፐርቼዝ ያደርጋሉ። ፐርቼዝ ካደረጉ በኋላ ግን ወይ ፕሮባብሊ በእኛ ሀገር ሴንስ ላይሰጥ ይችላል። በዛ ሀገር ግን ከኢትዮጵያ ውጭ ባሉ ሀገራቶች they have this refund system which if you provide ሪሲቱን ከመለሳችሁ ሪፈንድ ምን ያደርጋሉ ወይም እቃውን ተመልሰው ይቀበሏቸዋል። ሶ ፐርቼዝ ያደረጉና ወይ ሪሲቱ ጠፍቶብኛል ኦር ሰምቲንግ ብለው በቃ ኦልሞስት በድርቅ ክርክር ይህን ጥቅም ለማግኘት የሚታገሉ አሉ። ሳይከፍሉም ኦር ወይ በትንሽ ፕራይስ ገዝተው ትልቁን ፕራይስ ነው የገዛሁት ሪሲቱ ስለጠፋ ነው። እንደዚህ ሪፈንድ ሲስተም ያላቸው ቦታዎች ላይ ይመቻል። በዛ ክሌም በማድረግ ወይ አናውቶራይዝ ትራንዛክሽን ይፈጽማሉ ማለት ነው። እንዲህ አይነት ነገር ይሄ ሞር ፍሬንድሊ ፍሮድ ነው። ሞር ድፍረት ያላቸው ሰዎች የሚያደርጉት ነው ይሄኛው ፓርት። The other one is phishing and identity theft, which is like the account takeover. They completely somehow they will obtain your personal information, and based on that personal information about someone, they can create a new account. somehow በሆነ አጋጣሚ ሳይታችሁ ላይ ባለ ኢንፎርሜሽን በተለያየ አይ ቲንክ ፐርሰናል ኢንፎርሜሽናችን የተለያየ ቦታ ላይ ኤግዚስት ያደርጋል። ሰው ፊሽ አርግተህ ሀም ፐርሰናል ወስደው አክቹዋል አካውንት እንደናንተ ሆኖ ክሬት ያደርጋሉ። ሶ አብዛኛው አካውንት ክሬሽኖች not abzaኛው but there are account creations that exist online that doesn't need physical being to be there. So with your personal information, they will create account, and with that created credit account, they will do everything they want. They can do purchase and everything. So at the end, በባንክ ሊሆን ይችላል በኢኮሜርሱ ኦዲታቸው ላይ ያህን ሰው ሲፈልጉ አክቹዋሊ የሚያገኙት ሰው ክሬት ያደረገውን ሰውዬ ሳይሆን ክሬት የተደረገበትን አይደንቲቲ ቴፍት ማለት የአይደንቲቲ ማንነት የተሰረቀበትን ሰው ነው። እሱ ያን ሰው ነው ሊጠይቁት አልጠይም ሰው ይህ የሰረቀው ሰው ምንም ኃላፊነት አይወስድም። ዕዳም ቢወስድ በእናንተ ስም በሰራው አካውንት ዕዳው ለባለቤት ይሆናል ማለት ነው። So this is a really common identity theft is really common that happened around the world. And the other one is the triangulation fraud, where sellers offer high demand goods at low prices. So uses stolen cars from legitimate retailer shippers to retail ship to customers. የካርዶችን የተሰረቁ ካርዶችን ይጠቀሙና ኖርማል ፐርቼዝ ያደርጋሉ ኢኮሜርስ ሳይቶች ላይ። ከዛ ደግሞ ለሌሎች ከስተመሮች በሎ ፕራይስ ይሸጡታል፣ እነሱ በስቶል ካርድ የገዙትን ማለት ነው። እንደ አይነት ደግሞ በሶስተኛ ወገን እንትን የሚሰሩ አሉ። ሲጀመርም የገዙት ብር የነሱ አይደለም፣ ደግሞ በሎ ፕራይስ ደግሞ ሽጠው ሌላ ተጨማሪ ብር እያገኙ ነው። እንደ አይነት ደግሞ ፍራውድ ትራያንጉሌሽን ፍራውድ እንላቸዋለን። ከስተመር ሪሲቭስ አይተምስ አክቹዋል አይተሙን ያገኙታል በሎ ፕራይስ የገዙትን፣ ግን እነሱ በመሀል ላይ ብሩን እያሽከረከሩ የእነሱ ያለ ብር እያገኙ ነው። እንደ አይነት ፍራውዶች ትራያንጉሌሽን ፍራውድ እንላቸዋለን። what about credit card fraud? This one is a transaction fraud within the e-commerce ነው። ክሬዲት ካርድ ደግሞ is a bit different. እዚህ ላይ ደግሞ የሚከሰቱ ክሬዲት ካርድ ፍራውዶች ስኪሚንግ ዲቫይስስ secretly installed on POS terminals ሱፐርማርኬት ላይ ምናምን በፖስ እንከፍላለን አይደለ? እዛ ላይ የሚከሰቱ ፍራውዶች ናቸው። እኔ ደግሞ እንትኑ ላይ ፖስ ማሽኑ ላይ አላቸው ሀክ የሚያደርጉበት ኤክስተርናል ዲቫይስ ያችን ነገር አታች በማድረግ ፖዙ ላይ ልክ ሌላ ከስተመር መጥቶ ካርዱ ላይ ስዋይፕ ሲያደርግ ወይም ኢንሰርት ሲያደርግ ከዛ ፖርሽን ላይ ፖስት ማሽን ላይ ኢንፎርሜሽን ከዛ ካርድ ላይ ስለዛ ሰው የፐርሰናል ኢንፎርሜሽን ኤቭሪቲንግ ከዛ ካርድ ላይ ያለ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሊቶችን ግራብ ማድረግ ይችላሉ ማለት ነው። እንደ አይነት ስኪሚንግ የሚሰሩ ስኪሚንግ ፍራውድ እንላቸዋለን። ካውንተርፊት ካርድስ ደግሞ ዩዝ ስቶለን ካርድ ዳታ ቱ ክሪኤት ፊዚካል ኤንድ ፌክ ካርድስ ልክ ቁልፍ እንደምናባዛው ልክ እንደዛ ስቶር ካርዶችን ወስደው ሌላ ፌክ ካርዶችን ግን ያህን ኢንፎርሜሽን ወስደው ክሬት ያደርጋሉ ከስቶር ካርዶች ላይ ተነስተው። ኦፍተን ላክ ኤምቪ ቺፕ ሪላይስ ኦን ማግኔቲክ ስዋይፕ ያው ፌክ ሲሰሩ ኦፍተን እነዚህ አይነት ቺፖች ምናምን አይኖረውም፣ ግን still they can do this kind of things. The next one is lost or stolen card fraud. On this one, physical card used for in-person transaction. ይሄ ያው ኖርማል የሰውየውን ካርድ ይሰርቁና ኤኒ ፖስት ማሽንም ሊሆን ይችላል ኤቭሪቲንግ ይህን ካርድ ተጠቅመው መስራት የሚችሉትን ነገር ሄደው ታብ በማድረግ አሁን ለአንዳንድ ፐርቼዞች ኢቨን ፓስወርዳችሁ ማስገባት ምናምን አያስፈልግም አይደል? አንዳንድ ፖስት ማሽኖች ጀስት ካርዱን ብቻ ታብ በማድረግ ፐርቼዝ መደረግ ይችላል። ለእንደዚህ አይነት ነገር ይመቻል። አክቹዋል ካርዱን ስቶር ማድረግ ከቻሉ ኢኒ ቬሪፊኬሽን ኦር ፊርማ ኦር ሰምቲንግ አይፈልጉም። እንደ አይነት ክዊክ ፐርቼዞች ለነዛ ዕለት ይጠቀሟቸዋል ማለት ነው። application fraud ደግሞ using stolen identities to open new credit card account. This is a similar like the identity theft. They will store your identity that they get from somewhere and they will use it to create account. And with that account, I don't think in ሀገር ይኖር አይኖር but ውጭ ሀገር ክሬዲት ካርድ ስትከፍቱ የተወሰነ ብር ሎድ አድርገው ይሰጧቸዋል ባንኮች። በእናንተ አይደንቲቲ ክሬት የተደረገው ካርድ ያንን ካገኙ በኋላ ወዲያው ብሩን ያወጡታል ማለት ነው። እዳው ለእናንተ ነው፣ የእናንተ አይደንቲቲ ስለሆነ ኢንፎርሜሽን አታች ነው ያው እነሱ አይገኙም። እንደ አይነት ደግሞ አፕሊኬሽን ፍራውድ እንለዋለን። all these frauds that exist, we mention them because our target is to build a robust detection system that can handle all these possible attacks that can happen. So why do we need this detection system? I think it's pretty clear. One is for financial protection. No one wants to lose their money for these fraudsters. So the other is to create a customer trust. So if you have a company and you are constantly being attacked with fraudsters, it's likely that you're going to lose your customer trust, which none of the company wants. So to protect the customer trust, we need this fraud detection system. And the other is the regulatory compliance, which is adhere to industry standard. So you want to be able to meet or protect the industry standard from being manipulated and so on with these processes that exist. Reputation management, like we said, every company needs their reputation because their reputation is their brand, not to be damaged, ultimately not to lose many customers and so on. So operational efficiency, which is, to protect these fraudsters, especially before technology comes up and everything. Even now, there is a lot of manual reviews that happens. People actually check behind those companies to make sure the transaction is made by the right person or not. There's a lot of manual checking that's happening, so it will also improve that operational efficiency. The time that is lost by trying to identify which is fraud or which is not. There's a lot of time and manual power that's being spent for protecting themselves in most companies. So, but with having all the detection system, you can minimize that and increase the efficiency. And the other is dynamic threat landscape, or like we said, so the stores constantly evolving. They are not standing at some place. If there's new technologies, they will learn it and they will make sure they take advantage of it to do their job. So it's like it is their job. It's not some hobby or anything. It's something that they do to live as the የህይወታቸው በቃ ልክ እንደ ስራ እንደመውጣት ነው ለእነሱም። So they are constantly, they are not idiots, they are smart as well. So we need to have the system that is dynamic, that handles any threat that can happen in the future as well. So in traditional time, in the traditional way of doing this fraud detection method, one is rule-based system. These are things that exist right now. አሁን የሚጠቀሟቸው detection methods ናቸው። One is rule-based system, which is predefined rules. So አንድ ሰው ከትራንዛክሽኑ or maybe daily ሊሆን ይችላል። ይሄን ካምፓኒው ለሱ ወይም የሚከተሉት ህግ ነው ብቻ። ከአንድ ሰው $500 በላይ ካወጣ ትራንዛክሽን day some suspicious activity ብለው 500 በላይ እንዲያወጣ ሊያግዱት ይችላሉ። ፖሊሲያቸው ሊሆን ይችላል። እንደዚህ አይነት መንገድ በተቻላቸው አቅም ፍሮድን ዲቴክት ለማድረግ ይሞክራሉ። ሲምፕል ኢዚ ቱ ኢምፕሊመንት ነው። rule based, which is high positives or negative ሊከሰት ይችላል። they are taking a risk. $500 በላይ ስላወጣ አንድ ከስተመር ሌባ ነው ማለት አይደለም። But they are taking a risk. But እንደዚህ በላይ ከሆነ you just give some limitation just to identify fraud. They are taking a risk based on the pattern that they think they know, and they try to detect fraud like this one. It could lead them to have a high positives, which is accurate results, or it can give them also a high negatives as well. So they can be wrong. Negative blacklist, known fraudsters, and they have this blacklist list, which they contain. I think more fraudulent detect from other. Probably they have some kind of patterns that they recur. So የሚያውቋቸው fraudsters ይኖሯቸዋል። ያው የሚጠራጠሩት ከፍሮድስተሩ እንዴት አድርገው እንደሚሰርቅ ከመረዳት ብዛት የትኛው ፍሮድስተሮች ናቸው ወይ የትኛው አይፒ ነው የሚመጣው ምናምን የሚለውን እንዲህ አይነት ሪከርዶች ይኖሯቸዋል። ሶ አዲስ ከስተመርም ሆነ ምንም ትራንዛክሽን ሲሆን they always cross check with the blacklist they have to make sure it's not the common fraudsters that used to attack their system. So effective for preventing repeated fraud. So reactive and not proactive. So basically they have this negative fraud ካላቸው የልምድ ብዛት አንጻር የሆኑ pattern data አላቸው ሪከርድ የሆነ or even people's or IP addresses that usually being used by fraudsters. And when new transaction came or existing, they will make sure to cross-check with those blacklist information they have, to avoid repeat frauds. In this way, the other one they use is positive list and white list. እዚኛው ሊስት ላይ ያሉት የሚያምኗቸው ከስተመሮች አይፒ አድሬሳቸው ኢንፎርሜሽናቸው ኤቭሪቲንግ አለ። ሶ ይህ ከስተመር ዋይት ሊስት ውስጥ ካለ it will have more likely a smooth transaction, more trusted transaction ይኖራል። የሚያምኑትን ሊስቶች ደግሞ በእንደዚህ አስቀምጠው በዛ መንገድ ትራክ ያደርጋሉ። velocity checks monitor frequency of transaction. So too many transaction in short period ከተከሰተ የሆነ threshold ይኖራቸዋል። ከተከሰተ it will be detected as a suspicious activity and they try to block or whatever depending on their policies they will handle it through that standard. So this is one of them. The other is geographic analysis, which is mismatch between billing address, shipping address, and IP location. ከተከሰተ so ኢኮሜርስ ላይ ሲገባ የነበረው አድረስ እና ፐርሰናል ኢንፎርሜሽናቸው ላይ አታች ያለው ቢሊንግ አድሬስ or shipping address ከተለያየ they will consider it as a mismatch and try alert whoever is responsible and block that person and so on. So they will do these things as well as a traditional fraud detection system. This is how they handle this. This traditional system is still are being used till this day, but with the emerging of machine learning and AI, it's expected we should have a more advanced fraud detection system, which they can do pattern recognition. Most of the traditional detection, which manual involvement ናቸው። ያው I think ሞዴሎች ሞር ስፔሻሊ ፐርፌክት የሆኑ በመጡ ቁጥር pattern recognition አይደንቲፋይ ማድረጋቸው ደግሞ more fast, more certain, more perfect የሆነ ይመጣል። So with that we can have a better fraud detection, adaptability, which is continuously learn from new data and from deep patterns. That is one thing machine learning gives, right? Models, if you give them the right data, they can learn from their mistake, they can identify a pattern and they can predict really well. So it will improve the adaptability, which is the predictive analytics, which assigns risk scores. So past history later መስርቶ probability predictive fraud ሊከሰትበት የሚችለውን predictive analysis ፕሮቫይድ ሊያደርጉ ይችላሉ ማሽን እነዚህ አልጎሪዝሞች። So key ML algorithms like we know we have the supervised and supervised and deep learning. So with the supervised learning, if we have that data with labeled and so on, we can use those supervised learning models to train on these types of data to predict a really good fraud detection system. With unsupervised, we don't have label data, we can do these clusterings to predict or to understand some patterns. And deep learning, so with neural networks, they can handle really vast complex data sets. If you have that one, they are more likely to do a good job. They can handle complex data sets, learn highly abstract features, and they can perform really well in providing a good, accurate fraud detection system eventually. So feature engineering, critical for ML models. Okay, this is just transaction file time of device, past behavior. They can help to increase the effectiveness of ML models. and key data points for detection, transaction data. Um, so when you are looking for, going through forged data, what are the key data points that can be used for, analyzing all this for detection? One is the transaction data, so the amount of money one customer could have, the currencies, and these are just uh, terms or values that exist in e-commerce data. You can find these particular data, and they can be helpful for training models and everything to predict future risks. And the customer behavioral data, understanding the one customer's purchase history, the average transaction value they had. Um, it can give you some kind of information. Personally, ከሙያም ኢኮሜርስ ሲስተም እየተጠቀመ ያለው የሚለው ኢንፎርሜሽን you don't know, like traditional way ላይ ከ500 በላይ ከተከሰተ በአንድ ቀን or በአንድ ሰዓት $500 በላይ ከተከሰተ it's they are predicting there is a possible fraud that happening through that customer. Like that kind of identification, you can find that behavioral data from the customer data, their browsing patterns, user login times, ሰዓት ላይ ነው ሎጊን የሚያደርጉት, this kind of pattern information that you can find for the customer behavioral data, device fingerprinting, unique ID, operating system, browser, and so on. በምንድን ነው ሎጊን እያደረጉ ያሉት የሚለውን ብዙ ኢንፎርሜሽን መገኘት ይችላል ኢንተርፌስ ላይ ከምንጠቀመው ኮምፒውተር ጀምሮ። እነዚህ ቢሄቪየራሎችን ዲቴክት ማድረግ ኔትወርኪንግ አይፒ አድሬስ፣ ሰው አይፒ አድሬስ ሬፑቴሽን፣ ጂኦሎኬሽን ቅድም እንዳልነው ሎጊን ቪፒኤን ነው የምትጠቀሙ፣ ያ ቪፒኤን ቪፒኤን ዲቴክሽን ያስፈልጋል። አድሬሳቸው ላይ እንትን ያደረጉት አድሬስ ሌላ ሀገር ሆኖ ቪፒኤናቸው ሌላ ከሆነ ሲስተም ሪጀክት ሊያደርጋቸው ይችላል እንደተቀመጠው የዲቴክሽን ሲስተም አይነት። ግን ፖይንቱ ዲቴክሽኑ ግን ኢት ሹድ አይደንቲፋይ VPN ተጠቅሞ ሰው እዛ ላይ ሎጊን እያደረገ ያለው። So you can get some kind of suspicions. It's all about creating suspicions everywhere to identify possible frauds. So it's looking for those possible suspicious activities. So identity data, billing, shipping address, consistency. So like when have consistent and check madrag, email address, reputation. If it's constantly changing their email address, maybe something's up, you don't know. Phone number verification, again, same thing. Device and biometric data, emerging device ID, unique hardware identifier. So even ራሱ በስልካችን በሞባይላችን በስልካችን በላፕቶፓችን or በአዘር ላፕቶፕ ሎጊን ስናደርግ ጂሜል ዲቴክት ያደርጋል። ሰስፒሽስ አክቲቪቲ ያለ እናንተ ከሆናችሁ አሳውቁን፣ ካልሆናችሁ ኔክስት ስቴፕ አለርት ማድረግ እንችላለን የሚል ነገር ያጋጥመናል። ያ ላይ ምን ዲቴክት እያደረጉ ነው? አክቹዋል ዲቫይስ ዲቴክት እያደረጉ ነው። በየትኛው ሎጂ ተደርጓል፣ በየትኛው ዲቫይስ፣ በየትኛው አይፒ they will identify ማክቡክ ነው፣ ሊነክስ ነው። they have the system to identify which particular phone type, whatever device type you have, and if that's some unusual device, they will alert. It's the same thing here as well. Keystroke dynamics, mouse movements, these are all information they can get from your devices. It's really scary even to be able to find these informations from anywhere around the world. So what are the challenges? Now we have discussed what email can do for us, why we want this fraud detection and the type of fraud detection. We have mentioned all the steps from the start to where it could be, but even ሁሉንም አሁን ያለው በኢሜል ለምርጥ የሆነ ዲቴክሽን ሰርታችሁ everything has a challenge. What are those challenges that you can't overcome, or not can't, that's not the right word, but possible challenges that can happen when doing this fraud detection system is involving fraud technique. ሁሌ ማወቅ ያለባቸው ፕሮዲውሰሮች ኤዲቶች አይደሉም። ኢቨን ከእናንተ በላይ ስማርት ቢሆኑ ነው እንጂ አያነሱም። ቢኮዝ አር ኮንስታንትሊ ኢኖቬቲንግ ቲንግስ የሚሰርቁበትን የተለያዩ መንገዶች እነሱም ሁሌም አክቲቭሊ ቲንክ እያደረጉ ስለሆነ የእናንተ ቲንኪንግ እነሱን ማሽ ማድረግ መቻል አለበት። ዋን ስቴፕ ፎርዋርድ መሆን ከቻላችሁ ኢትስ ዘ ቤስት ከተቻለ not for you guys also for everyone. But you need to know that information. They are constantly evolving with the technology, with their mind, and everything. So your system must be able to recognize that and try to, handle that change that can come from them. So with ML, we have this predicting, right? We are predicting something that doesn't happen, but will likely to happen. So we can also understand the producer's behavior. I don't know how we can find that data, but if there is, probably I think there might be some understanding their behavior, thinking, or it can be different from person to person. But if there's some pattern that we can understand from them, it can really elevate our fraud detection system somehow. But the point is, we need to know that producers are also smart and they are evolving along with us. So our system needs to handle that. Both positive and negatives. So ይሄ የሚከሰት ነገር ነው። ፕሮባቢሊቲ ነው እየተሰራ ያለው። So even with the traditional, with the ML, we will not know for sure until it happens. The particular person we are suspicious about is an actual producer or not. We are taking a risk. So with this risk, we might even close legal ጤነኛ የሆነን ከስተመር ብሎክ ልናደርገው እንችላለን። ሰስፒሸስ ስለሆነ ብቻ ማለት ነው። ሶ በዛ መሀል ከስተመር ፍርስትሬሽን ሊከሰት ይችላል፣ ሎስ ሬቪኒው ሊከሰት ይችላል። ሶ ዲስ አር ጀስት ኤቲክስ ዛት we are taking. So this is one challenge we have in this area. So ልክ ደግሞ ትክክለኛ የሆኑ ከስተመሮችን ብሎክ ልናደርግ እንደምንችል ሁሉ በጥርጣሬ በዛው ልክ ደግሞ ትክክለኛ ፕሮዲውሰሮችን ሚስት ልናደርጋቸው እንችላለን። የእነሱ ደግሞ ሞር ሊሸወድ ይችላል፣ ኦር ሲስተማችን ሊሸወድ ይችላል። ሞር የእነሱን ትሩ ነው ብሎ አይደንቲፋይ አድርግቶ ከስተመሩ ላይ ኦር ቫይስ ቨርሳ it's a probability that we are doing, and these are one of the challenges that we have. We can have both false positive and negatives. Data scarcity and imbalance. So fraudulent transactions are rare, imbalanced data sets. So limited historical data from fraud types. Like we said, more getting the fraudster side alone data magnet ከባድ ነው። አስቸጋሪ ነው። ኔክስት እንትናቸው ኒው ፍራውድ ያሰቡትን ፕሪዲክት ማድረግ ሞር ሃርድ ነው። ቢኮዝ ዊ ዶንት ሃቭ ኤኒ የተወሰኑ የታሰሩ ሰዎችን ኦር ሪከርድ ላይ ያሉ ኢንፎርሜሽኖችን ተነስተን የተቻለውን ልናደርግ እንችላለን። በት ስቲል it's not enough the data that we have on this one. So there is an imbalanced data, which is a challenge. Real-time processing demand needs sub-second decision for user experience. So the user experience, of course, the user experience እንጨነቃለን, which means fast የሆነ real-time የሆነ processing ሊኖረን ነው። ያንን አኮምፕሊሽ ማድረግ ሞር ዲፊካልት ሊሆን ይችላል። maybe in the future ላይሆን ይችላል, but this is one challenge. So identifying that person really quick and do the necessary steps, just hoping you didn't have a false negative or false negative person. So that is one problem. The real-time processing the mind to without affecting the user experience can be really hard. It's one challenge. The other is privacy concerns, that is balancing data usage with customer privacy. So እነዚህ ሳይቶች ኢኮሜርስ ሳይቶችን ኢኒ ሳይቶች everyone who's logged in their site, they have their customers information, right? So in the name of doing this fraud detection, you are going to use this customer information, which can create some privacy breakage. So ፕራይቬሲያቸውን ልንነካ እንችላለን። In the name of doing the fraud detection, we might cross a line of identifying which is respecting the customer privacy, while also using them to protect them from these fraudsters. So this is a challenge, how you can balance the privacy concerns, because technically እነዛ ከስተመሮች ዳታችን የትም አይሄድም or safe ነው ብለው ነው የሚገቡ። So we need to identify, we need to balance the data that we have between using it for these kind of systems and plus crossing the line with our customers' privacy. But this is one challenge that we have in cost of implementation and maintenance, which requires significant investment. It's really expensive dealing with this. So this is one challenge that we have as well. So with that being said, what could be the future trends in future or in fraud detection? One is advanced AI and deep learning. Maybe the AI stage that we are in right now cannot give us a really good fraud detection system. But I think everyone is hopeful with the way AI is going. It will go to perfection at some point. So advanced AI and deep learning can be a really good solution for detecting these frauds much faster, much reliable, much accurately, and it's the one hope that fraud detection have in the future. The other is behavioral biometrics, which is passive authentication, like keystroke, mouse, swipe pattern. These are really detailed authentications, identifying your swipe pattern that you are touching from your computer touchpad or your mouse, your keyboards. This is really our passive authentications. Maybe there exists, I don't have the information on that one, but doing this passive authentication to identify frauds as much as possible can be the next future step. Reduces friction while increasing security. If that's something that we can handle, the world can handle, it could be a really good way to identify fraud detection. The other is digital identity and decentralized identity, which is when it comes to decentralization, blockchain is the next technology that handles this decentralized identity. So secure, verifiable digital credentials and blockchain for immutable transaction records. So as I don't know how many of you know about blockchain. Blockchain focuses on decentralization. That is, your data will not be owned by only one company. It will be decentralized, and transaction records cannot be easily መቀየር አይችሉም። ለምሳሌ በአማዞን ላይ የአንድ ከስተመር ዳታ ያለው በአማዞን ካምፓኒ ስር ነው። ሶ እኔ አሁን አማዞን ላይ አካውንት ቢኖረኝ የአማዞን ስራ አስኪያጅ or whatever responsible who have the data for the database, they can possible ነው I know agreement አላቸው ይሄናል ማድረግ ምናምን ብለው, but it's possible. That's the point. They can actually go to the database and change or pass my identity information to another fraudster to do some damage on my reputation. They can do that. That is there is that possibility being centralized. There is one company or one person responsible on your data, so they can do anything they want with it. That the risk that we take. But with blockchain, of course, identity or everything is not specified to one company or one person. It exists around all the blockchain. Might save unsafe, but it is because unit data change በእናንተ ትራንዛክሽን ላይ ሪከርድ ላይ ሲቀየር አሁን ለምሳሌ አንድ ትራንዛክሽን እኔ ላይ ሲቀየር በሴንትራላይዝ ሲስተም በአማዞን ኤግዛምፕል ሲስተም አማዞን ብቻ ነው የአማዞን ዳታ ቤዝ ላይ የሚቀመጠው አማዞን ብቻ ነው አይደንቲፋይ የሚያደርገው። በብሎክቼን ግን there are a lot of nodes, there are a lot of users that have eyes on my transaction. እኔ ማረገው ትራንዛክሽን ላይ ብዙ አይኖች አሉ። ሶ ኢሚት ማድረግ ከባድ ነው። ፖሲብል ቢሆንም ያለ ያ ሁሉ ሰው ማን ኢንቨስት እንዳደረገው ማየት ይችላል። እዛ ብሎክቼን ላይ ያሉ ኖዶች በሙሉ they can identify who is doing it. So it's really hard to change your transaction or redirect your transaction or mess up with your stored identity and so on without notifying everyone within the blockchain ማለት ነው። everyone ስንል አንድ ካምፓኒ ለም anyone can be part of the blockchain ecosystem. Anyone, any user around the world can be part of it and they can see a change happening within that particular public address and so on. So decentralized መሆኑ more hard ያደርገዋል ለፕሮዲውሰሮችም ለካምፓኒዎችም. So that could be a solution. It has its own drawbacks, of course, but it could be one solution as well. So I don't if you are new, just check out blockchain and so on. Confuse ካረኳችሁ ራሱን የቻለ ትልቅ ፊልድ ነው, but that's a point that mentioned here. The other is collaboration and information sharing, which is industry-wide threat intelligence platforms and sharing anonymized fraud data. If this is more like, so if there are people around the world working on fraud detection system, because ይሄ የአንድ ሰው ኦር የአንድ ካምፓኒ ችግር አይደለም፣ የሁሉም ችግር ነው። So share data በማድረግ and so on. By collaboration, we can have much better fraud detection. The other is explainable AI, which is understanding why a model flags something as fraud, crucial for compliance and analyst training. So if you have a model that is doing this fraud detection, understanding the model's performance, this is more evaluating the model, can say that, why it keeps a fraud for some activity and so on. Understanding that can help, improve or create a more advanced solution. This is just learning and improving part. So to conclude the discussion, this fraud is an ever-present, evolving threat. It's not static. That is something it's dynamic. It's evolving. The fraudsters are evolving along with you. So it's really abroad in your pattern of fraud. So it can change different forms, like we say, this fraud. So before technology, there are different kinds of e-commerce የሚባሉ ቴክኖሎጂ ከመምጣታቸው በፊት ፍሮድ ኤግዚስት ያደረግ ነበረ በሌላ መልክ ማለት ነው። ቴክኖሎጂ ሲመጣ ኦንላይን ሲስተሞች ሲመጡ ደግሞ ፍሮድ ደግሞ እነሱንም ጆይን አድርገው ደግሞ በእነሱ መልክ እየሄደ ነው። አሁን ከቴክኖሎጂ ህይወትም ወደፊት ብንወጣም ባንወጣም ደግሞ ፍሮድ ሌላ ፍሮድ ይዞ አብሮ ነው አይ ገስ ሚኖር ነገር ነው፣ በቃ አይቀርም። So it's ever present, multi-layered approach is essential. That is rules ML and human intelligence. So this is more like not depending on entirely on this AI's intelligence, having also the manual labor and having set rules or standards or thresholds to identify fraud can be more essential, or it could be more valuable. It's just a suggestion. It could be or could be not, but it could be probably. Continuous innovation and adaptation are key, like we said, because fraud is evolving. We need to have a continuous innovation. It's not something that you have a solution for and move on. It's something that you need to continuously learn and improve. Focus on balancing security with user experience, and collaboration strengthens the defense system. So that's it. This is about what fraud detection system is. I have notes in each slide. If you want to read more about some of the key terms, you can check out. But this is it. This is what fraud detection seems like. So yeah, great. I think የሚያስጨንቅ ቶፒክ አይደለም። probably all of us familiar ነን one way or another fish ሆነናል or probably ሆነናል. I think so. we have some personal experience from this one, but you know what you need to look for when you are doing a project. What your target is now is pretty clear, I would say, right? Okay. So if you have question, you can ask. If not, you can end the session with having a reaction that you get the purpose of the tutorial and we can move on. Great, thank you, Maspen. All right. So I have shared it on the drive, which you can read up for more, but I'm ending the